Welcome to my first episode called Cleansing is Next to Godliness. And I share the story of how I came into this new journey of life, which is a completely different path, and how I got knocked off my other path to pursue this new life. And the story begins in 2007 when I had an awakening. And up until that point, I felt I wasn't really awake. I was living a life of a musician in California and doing really well in that area. And I decided to go to a friend's party in LA. And this is what triggered the whole situation. Basically, we'd normally be partying. That was kind of a lifestyle at that time, to party a lot and do a gig, party after the gig, continue, and using substances, unfortunately, really enhanced that kind of lifestyle. And it was working for me for years, or so I thought it was working for me. I was having a good time. I was successful in what I was doing, so of course that really motivated me. And the substances abuse, I would say, played into having this experience. And I wouldn't do anything differently, I guess. I had to go through all these experiences to get where I am at today, so I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful that I made it through the experience, which was quite an ordeal. In 2007, like I said, up until that point, I'd say from the mid-90s, I was successful with my musical project, the FUNKY HIPPEEZ, which is a 70s tribute to disco and funk, and doing really well, playing weekly, and that kind of lifestyle, that fast lifestyle, living in California, was exciting, and it again took me down into areas where I really never explored before, and that would be substances. And by taking those substances, it gave me some new awareness, which I appreciate that aspect of it, but it can be very, it can take you to dark areas of life. And in this case, it was going to just a regular party, actually. I wasn't gigging that night. And when I went to that party in LA, basically I was thinking of partying like a rock star. And that was kind of the ongoing joke, that we would really party hard, play hard, party hard, work hard, that kind of concept. And so I did that, and basically when I came back home, which we normally would continue our partying after we went out, did something, we would come back home, and those were really the most fun of all the parties, was to party at home. But it was safe, you're in a safe space, and so you could really let loose, and you want to be free, because when you're in substances, you definitely want to be free. You don't want to be cooped up in any way. And but I came home, it was late, and basically I broke one of my rules, which is never mixing different substances. There's certain substances that you can mix and some that you can't. And that night being one of those nights where it was getting crazy. And that's another thing too with substances. When you take substances, you're not quite in your clear state of mind and consciousness. So basically you can make poor decisions. And in this case, I broke one of my rules. And that rule basically that I broke was to not mix these substances, which I did with alcohol. And it had a really bad adverse effect. And that adverse effect was, instead of me feeling like I was gonna get lucky that night and have even more fun, I instead got a dose of getting sick. And I rarely get sick. Even back then, I really didn't get sick. especially stomach issues. I wouldn't get sick. 'Cause I had a stomach of steel, at least I thought. But I got sick by mixing these substances, and it put me up in bed for 3 days. It was very challenging and a kick to my ego, because again, I just thought that in that Superman phase where you think that you could do anything, and especially when you're on substances, you really think you can do anything. But being sick, basically just curled up in a fetal position in a ball, and I remember the first night I figured I'd just power through it, because I just thought I'd get through it like anything else, and just stayed in bed. But as the night progressed, it wasn't getting better, and I tried to sleep through it, and the little sleep that I got, I basically made it to the second night, and still trying to recover. At that point, I thought maybe perhaps I should go to the hospital and get some help, but I wasn't in my right state of mind, and I thought perhaps maybe if I were to go to the doctors, they would find out that I had substances in me, and was paranoid and thought that wouldn't be a good idea. And a family, I don't want to get into any kind of problems and trouble in that way. So I thought I'd just kind of wait through, and I had full coverage. I could have gone to the hospital and it would all be covered, but again, just not in that right state of mind. So I thought I would just continue to work through it. And the second night, it still was pretty brutal. But I made it to the third night. And the third night, it started to subside. And so then I had hope again that I would be okay. And basically, at that third night, after I made it through and it got better, then it took me into this area of, well, now what? What do I do from this point?